my co-host. Thank you so much. No? Okay, so good morning once again.
Good morning, sir.
Na, with feelings ba? Dapat with feelings ang inyong good morning. No? Para, okay, we will be talking about feelings. So this is a seminar about love, di ba? Sir Tuaz? Can you see the screen now? Kita rin ninyo.
Wala pa, sir.
Wala pa. Alright. How are we going to do this? Chill lang sa mo diha. And first of all, I would like to thank Sir Tuazon for inviting me for this seminar, for this webinar. No? It's really a privilege, Sir Tuaz, no? Because, class, we need to be thankful of all the things that's happening in our lives. No? By the time that we woke up this morning, we should be thankful. No? We are thankful that we are safe, no? Because we'll be talking later about Safe Spaces Act. No? I think you discussed this already in your special penal laws, right, Sir Tuaz? Naman niya siya sa special penal laws. But yes, Sir Tuazon emphasized the importance of these laws because these are very rampant, no? Very practical nowadays, especially we'll be working in a wet environment, working educational training environment, and also in the cyberspace. So, doon tayo sa cyberspace, mag-chat, where we are watching TikTok videos always. Na yung mga TikTokers dire. Alright, I'd like to follow your accounts, no? If you have TikToks. And also YouTube. If you have YouTube account, kung mo, no, i-follow na mo. Because I'm also a vlogger, and the purpose of our vlog is to present the law in the most amusing way, no? Para mas dali masabtan. I have a friend working in SAO, interviewing for criminology board examination, and he was not able to understand what anti-fencing law is, no? But by the time that he watched our videos, he understood already. So makapasar na gito siya sa board exam, no? Matapos gito siya. So what are you waiting for, no? Karon, please subscribe to our channel, alright? So, nag-plug na tayo today, no? Dili na hindi siya sa webinar, just nag-plug na tayo. Alright. So, I have to admit, no, ako ang mo-admit ani Sir Tuaz na someone is joining. I'll click admit. Alright.
Kami lang, attorney.
Yes, Mr. De La Serna. Okay na? Okay. So, Sir Tuazon already mentioned about the goal, the purpose of this webinar, and I'm expecting to deliver those purposes mentioned by Sir Tuazon, and I'm privileged. So once again, thank you, Sir Tuazon, and thank you everyone, no, for joining today, no. Akala ko ako lang mag-isa ang nandito at si Sir Tuazon, kami lang dalawa ang mag-discuss, but I'm overwhelmed because there are 50 students, no? 47 students. Kanina 50, yung dalawa siguro, baka nag-snacks na yun. Naguna-una na itong snacks. So, pero, no, I'm overwhelmed because of the attendance. So, I know nga, dili man mo required. Ano, di ba? Dili na required, Sir Tos? Required. Okay. But thank you for coming, for sacrificing. Okay. And it shows that you are interested and shows that you are powerful. Yeah, we'll be talking about power and feelings right now, ladies and gentlemen. You want to become powerful, right? And of course, as human as we are, we have this so-called selfish gene. We have this selfish gene, ladies and gentlemen, that if we want something or we want someone to be with us, we wanted to do everything. No? Ginagawa natin lahat. Sometimes research natin sa Google. No? Pag may girlfriend kayo, pag may gusto kayong ligawan, sabihin nyo, Google ka ba? Kasi nakita ko na sa'yo lahat. Yun. Alright. So, we're talking about the power and feelings right now and the selfish gene that we have as human beings. And I think this is the reason why we human beings wanted to get everything that we have, and by all means, no, by all means, including the power that we have, the influence that we have, or the authority that we have. No? Kaya kasi life is unfair, right? And we must get used to it. Life is unfair. There are really people who are above us, no, who are superior than us in position. We have a teacher, we have the dean, or in the work environment, we have managers, supervisors. They are superior than us in terms of those things, no? Or even in the training, no, our coach. May mga athletes ba dito? Yun, no? We have coaches that we are always listening to whatever they will want, whatever they want us to do, no, for us to be developed. Merong mga ganun eh. So that is life, no? It's a reality of life that there are people who are superior than us. Okay? And it shows power to those people. Now, because there are people who are superiors, it also shows a reality, ladies and gentlemen, that there are people who are inferior, who are marginalized, no, inferior, who are subordinates. Yun. Yeah, when we trace back to history, there are subordinates, no, who are always, kung unsa may ganahan, ipabuhat ani nga superior, ilang buhaton, no? And that's the reality even from the earliest civilizations. So we have kings, we have emperors, whatever their servants want them to do, they're going to submit it. But that reality has changed already, di ba? By human nature, no, tao tayo. Ako, naalala ko, tao ako noon, class. Ladies and gentlemen, pero ngayon bagay na ako. Yun, sinasabi ko yun sa girlfriend ko, no? Kasi bagay din siya. Kaya bagay kami. Alright. So ngayon, we're talking about sexual harassment because I think it shows about a reality of being human. That there are superiors and inferiors. That's why this law came in. Katulad nyo, no? You will be future servants in this country. I think your motto is to serve and protect. Yan, tama ba yan, Sir Twas? Serve and protect.
Yes, sir.
Yes, tama yun. No? Serve and protect. Protektahan natin itong certain sector in a society, the marginalized. Noon, we thought that all marginalized people can be seen only in the streets, no, mga beggars, mendicants, or those who are poor, very poor, no, living in the slum areas, or maybe living in the mountains. We call them marginalized before, but that reality, murag na-expand ng atong reality because even in the workplace, even in school, there are marginalized. And it is manifested by how superior abuse their power in order their subordinates to submit to their will, to their wants. Yun. So kayo ang kailangan nating protektahan, ladies and gentlemen, no? And that will be your goal, no, in the future, to serve and protect. But even now, as students, as interns, you will be serving and protecting other students or your neighbors or your relatives by knowing these two laws that we're going to discuss this morning. Okay, so we'll be talking about sexual harassment. Okay, this is something this law is something personal to me, no? Okay, later we will tackle those personal experiences. Okay, so nakikita niyo ba sa screen?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen. So the first question that we have right now is what body of law governs sexual harassment in the Philippines? So maybe you studied in your special penal laws this first law, Republic Act number 7877. Did you remember this, ladies and gentlemen? Parang hindi nyo na remember eh. Kasi sabi nyo, yung mga inaaral nyo, parang X nyo, yung past na, hindi na yun. Past is past, nothing to discuss, sir. Lumabas na yun sa exam namin sa finals, hindi na yan babalik. No, you're thinking you should be not like that, ha? Sir Tuason emphasized continuous learning. So even after graduation, even after taking the board examination, even you're taking your final exam, midterm exam, learning continues, ladies and gentlemen. No? Knowledge is power when it is applied. Okay? I-apply nyo lang sa exam, hanggang doon na lang yun. But if you're going to apply this in your everyday situation, make a difference out of it, then that will be the main purpose that a law, why law is here in our society. So, no, it will govern, it will help us to obtain peace and order, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is nothing about the past. This is something about the past that you need to remember in your special penal laws. Now, as I always told my students, no, second year, third year, that your preparation for the board examination starts from the very first day of your criminology class. No? So you need to remember these things. So for practical purposes, itong RA 7877, ito yung an act known as an act declaring sexual harassment unlawful in the employment, education, or training environment, and for other purposes govern sexual harassment in the Philippines. Okay. So this act was enacted around 1995, no? It was President Ramos's time when this law was approved. So matagal-tagal na. Okay, matagal-tagal na, ladies and gentlemen. But this is still applicable and very true nowadays. Okay, so sir, bakit dalawa? Dalawa yun, class, ladies and gentlemen. Because this RA 7877 governs sexual harassment in the private sector. Okay, private sector. Meron bang public sector, sir? Yes, ito yung pangalawa nating source. Okay, the Civil Service Commission, yung Civil Service Commission, ladies and gentlemen, is the HR of the Philippine government. So whenever you want to apply in the government, you have to pass the civil service examination, right? But if you have passed criminology board exam or NAPOLCOM, hindi na kailangan yung civil service kasi equivalent yun eh. But what I'm trying to say is this Civil Service Commission, ito yung nagtatanggap ng mga aplikante sa government. And since they're the ones, since they're serving as the human resource office, sila din yung gumagawa ng policies in order to have a harmonious workplace or environment in the government. That's why they made this civil service resolution number 010940 to apply sexual harassment in the government. Ayun, ladies and gentlemen, government should remember. Now, by the way, I advise you to get your notes and write everything that I'm going to say here, the highlights or keywords na sasabihin ko about this law. Kuha kayo ng ballpen at papel. Kasi dapat isusulat yun. Kung alam lang natin, di ba, yung feelings, dapat isinulat natin para hindi din malimutan, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's proceed. So the purpose, no? The purpose of this law. Teka muna, hindi makita. Yun. So the purpose. It values the dignity. So the main source, 7877, nakatanungin kayo, what is this law? Is this special penal law? Yes, it is a special penal law because this law is violated has penalty. Okay? Yun yung makaka-special penal law sa isang batas because it has a penalty, ladies and gentlemen. But at the same time, this is a social legislation. When we say social legislation, there is a certain purpose here which is being valued by the law, no? And that is to protect those marginalized, even in the workplace, in the educational environment, training environment. Okay, but according to the law, it valued the dignity of every individual. Okay, enhance the development of its human resources, guarantee full respect for human rights, and uphold the dignity of workers, employees, applicants for employment, students like you, for those undergoing training, no, you are still undergoing training, BOGT right now, instruction or education. Towards this end, all forms of sexual harassment in the employment, education, or training environment are hereby declared unlawful. Okay. The purpose is very clear, right? Ikaw, you're a student and you really want to study your subjects. So you are inspired, motivated to go to school every day. And here comes this teacher na hindi naman masyadong gwapo, kaya hindi mo gusto, matanda na, kaya nadidirihan. So sinasabi niya, oh, you're beautiful. So what is the secret of your daily routine? You have a sexy butt. You have a sexy butt. Okay. Those kind of things. What is your reaction? Ikaw mo reaction ng mga babae. Of course, they will feel being embarrassed, humiliated, or binastos, right? Karapatan niyo yun. And it feels like you're not safe anymore to come to school, kaya distract ka na, no? So bottom line dito, ladies and gentlemen, hindi lang pala pag ikaw na busted or nag-break kayo ng boyfriend mo, ikaw masasaktan at hindi na motivated to go to school. Sometimes, it is because of the environment that you are in. It's so toxic. Okay? Sa relasyon na, pag toxic, lalabas ka na, di ba? Ano, magpakamartir ka? Hindi yun. So in classroom settings, if the teacher is like that, it is very toxic to you, very harmful, and there is a psychological disturbance that you are feeling. Kaya ayaw mo nang pumunta sa school, di ba? Naapektuhan ang relasyon mo sa ibang tao kasi ayaw mo nang lumabas. Natatakot ka na baka bastusin ka. You want that kind of environment in your situation right now? Or maybe you will be entering the PNPA. PNPA, alam niyo yung PNPA? Philippine National Police Academy. So I think every policeman dream to be in that institution. Okay. So for example, one of the bosses or the HR or somewhat the appointment officer, he will require you, or he or she will require you to do this training, and at the end of the day, ibabagsak ka at sasabihin sa iyo na meron pa ring paraan. Kasi gusto mong maabot yung mga pangarap mo, palaging may paraan. Kaya sabihin ko sa iyo, merong paraan. Okay? Punta ka dito sa Baguio at sabihin mo lang na as a friend. Parang si Paulo Pontis na as a friend lang. Kuyog lang dito sa Baguio ba, no? Sabihin na, PNPA officer, punta tayo sa Baguio. Doon na natin i-take yung exam mo, practical exam. At kinabukasan, makakapasa ka na. Okay? So you want that kind of environment na parang iti-take advantage yung gusto mo, yung what you really want, your goal, no? Because they know that you really want this, so they will take advantage of that. Kaya here comes this law, the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, na pinoprotektahan ang these kind of situations, people who are vulnerable. Kasi vulnerable tayo. Sa temptation, vulnerable tayo, di ba? Si Sir Tuason siguro very loyal kasi kahit may magandang babae o estudyante, hindi yan titingin. No? Loyal lang sa kanyang wife. Konti na lang yung mga ganun, no? Mga katulad namin. Merong mga as human as they are, they will appreciate, but the bad thing about it, if they will become obsessed, no? and magpadaog sila sa ilahang human nature, the temptation, the urge that they had, or the desire. So it's a reality. That's why this law came in, para i-protect ang human dignity. Human right yun eh. Human right yun, to be in a proper workplace environment, educational environment. Okay, so I hope that's clear already, the purpose of this law. No? We have to protect the human dignity of being safe, being not taken advantage, be not abused, especially during employment, education, and training sessions in the environment. So yun yung purpose ng batas na ito, ladies and gentlemen. Now, who are punished by this law? Who are punished? Eh, kailangan nating malaman as to who are punished in this law. Baka isa na tayo doon, no? Sir, we are still students. Pwede ba yun na isang estudyante makakasuhan ng sexual harassment? It's a case-to-case basis, no? Maybe it will be propounded in your questions right now, no? But in different cases decided by the Supreme Court, wala pang ganun. Wala pang ganun na nangyayari na student kinasuhan ng anti-sexual harassment kasi they are on the same level, eh, walang moral ascendancy. Okay, so now, who are punished by this law? As you remember in your special penal laws, we'll be talking about RA 7877. Okay, just remember the keywords: authority, influence, or moral ascendancy, or mnemonics AIM. AIM. AIM, no AIM. Someone who has authority, influence, or moral ascendancy over another, they can be held liable for Anti-Sexual Harassment Act. Okay, especially, no? Examples, best examples here. Employer, employee, pwede din employee, no? Depende sa posisyon. Manager, supervisor, agent of the employer, teacher, instructor, professor, coach, trainer, yon, and other person who has aim, authority, influence, or moral ascendancy. So if you will, for practical purposes, no, if somebody will tease you with a green joke, and you will feel nabastos kayo, and that someone has authority or influence or moral ascendancy over you, no, it's your teacher, it's your team, no, for example, or it's your manager, pwede na yung kasuhan ng RA 7877. Pero if government employee siya or official, especially you, no, your superiors, for example, in the PNP, puhon, kung kaluyan mo, no, kaluyan mo gid mo ana, ladies and gentlemen, kay mampuonon mo, and you are hardworking, you will become police officers. Now, if you will become police officers and somebody from the policeman, from the PNP, nga imong superior, and you will be taken advantage, and they will say green jokes, tease you for gender-based nga kind of mockery, o ingon ka nga atay pagbaya mo David, pangay kag buktunday na no, kapos siya sa imong kilid be. So those kinds of things, no, kinds of acts. So in the who are punished by this law in the government service, no, any government employee or official in a work-related training or education. Now here's a trivia, no? Here's a catch here, ladies and gentlemen, because in RA 7877, there is a requirement of authority, influence, or moral ascendancy. Okay, but in the government service, bisan og ka-level nimo, bisan cadet pa na siya, even if he is not your superior, basta na siya buhaton ng sexual harassment or forms of sexual harassment which will be discussed later, pwede na siyang kasuhan ng CSL Resolution number 010940, no? And all other administrative matters, no, gross misconduct, immorality, pwede niyang kasuhan sa ombudsman. So be careful. Why is this so, sir? No, it's unfair. Kami nga ang mga public servants, PNP in the future, no, eh baka masyadong stricto itong I think, sir, our law is stricter than RA 7877. Of course, because you are public servants, so you are expected to do more. Remember the doctrine that public office is a public trust. Yun. So, who are punished by this law? Remember RA 7877, yung mga merong authority, influence, moral, ascendancy. How about this resolution? Wala, hindi na yun needed. Basta government employee or official in a work-related training or training environment, covered na yun. Okay? So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, no, para mga lucky na ba, mga istisan kayo, no? Maybe we're thinking na this is not offensive. But the problem of this law is it is on the part of the receiver, ladies and gentlemen, no? Labi na siguro og dili kayo ganahan nimo ang receiver, no? Pero gwapo ta, no? Gwapo. Parehanin niyo mga gwapo. Pero siguro na mo reklamo yung mga binuangan kasi ako na ibiginahan sana, no? Labi na na-crash ninyo. Pero kung ako di man kay putik panot brush man nga ano ba tagba ba. Di na ganahan nimo. So mao na nga ireklamo ka og sexual harassment. Okay? No, just kidding, no? But you need to avoid this because you are the protector, no? You must set an example. Okay. So I hope that's clear already as to who can be punished. Remember the gap between private and public services. Kasi we're talking about environments here. So one of the classifications sa environment is private and public. Meron talaga yan. And if you are public servants or someone who is working in a public or government office, yun, you are expected to do more and you are expected to act with morality more than those in the private sectors. Yun. So I hope that's clear already right now, no? Kasi maybe alam natin sa RA 7877 na merong moral ascendancy lang. Pero sa government, hindi. Wala na yun. Walang delineation. Kasama mo, pareha kayong job order, pareha kayong cadets, pareha kayong PO1 or corporal ba yun? Cover na yun pag binastos mo isang tao. Ginawa mo itong in the next slide. No? Ano, where committed pa? Saan ba? So under RA 7877, in a work, education, or training environment, yun. Wet environment. Wet, kanina aim nun, di ba? As to who? Dito naman sa where, wet. Okay. W stands for work, E for education, E for training. Okay. So in the premises of the workplace or office or of the school or training institution. So in the premises of a workplace, I remember, this is a true to life event. No, I remember somebody who was terminated because of sexual harassment. Now, where did he do it? He argued na I did not do it in the premises of the workplace or office. Eh, tinanong namin, saan mo ba ginawa? Sir, ginawa niya doon sa car. Yun, sa car niya binastos yung subordinate niya. Eh, ito sa private sector to. Sa car niya, tinanong na, mga jokes ba? Di ba mga jokes? Pag-fill out ka ng profile, sabihin doon na gender, male, sex, 2 times a week. Yun, ginawa niya yung joke. Inabastos yung sumakay sa kanya, no, sa kanyang sasakyan. Nabastos. Eh, hindi na umimik. Eh, ito namang si Seth, sabi niya, how many times nga ba, no? I'm just curious, no? Sir, it's already personal. No, I'm just curious. No? You're riding in my vehicle right now, so I have the right to ask you questions. Sir, it's already personal, sir, and three times a week. Ayun. Pero kahit nasabi niya yun, no, kahit parang may consent sa kanya, even though, no, kahit na binigay mo yung sagot na gustong malaman sa hindi yun ibig sabihin na nag-consent ka na or gusto mo na yung ginagawa or tanong niyan. It's not necessary. Kasi even though no, sumagot siya, no, sinakyan niya yung joke. Wala na ba yung sexual harassment? Meron pa din, no? Kasi napaprocess yan yung feeling niya, napaprocess yan. Parang pagbaba niya sa sasakyan, doon nabastos siya. Or even during the time na tinanong siya, nabastos siya. Pero out of respect, sinabayan niya. Kasi nga, as I emphasized you earlier, merong abuse of power, merong power. Kaya maikog ta. Kita mga Pinoy, maikog ko na ba kayo ta, di ba? Bisan pa og ka ng dili na nimo kaya ang ipabuhat sa imong amigo or gani musabay yun ta, no? Kay peer pressure and maikugin yun ta, no? We are, it's in our nature na ganahan ta mag-apil-apil pirmi para we can please everyone. So the more that we're taking advantage. So going back to the where, no? Even if not in the workplace or in the office, kinonsider niya yon ng Supreme Court na pag pinapunta ka sa bahay ng superior mo or you are invited to ride in this car and a sexual harassment act was committed in there, that is already considered as an extension. No? Kasi merong mga pilosopo na they are arguing na hindi naman nangyari yun sa workplace, hindi naman yun sa office. No, it's an extension, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that's clear already, okay? Now, school or training institution, it's the same, no? The teacher or the trainer, mag-training man sila ng certain club or assuming no choir or cheer dance. Yun. So, meron siyang natipuhan. Kaya, every night, hinahatid niya yung lahat. Tapos, ang huli niyang inahatid, ang katong iyahang idol. Ayun, idol magita, no? Pero, iyahang hinahinay, no? Every night, consistent, or every after practice, assuming every MWF yung practice, MWF, hindi pa umuwi si sir sa kanyang asawa sa clinic. Sinahatid pa ang kanyang mga choir members. Very, very good trainer, di ba? Asa mo makakita na? Di ba si Sir Tuazon, mag-training mo OJT, dili mo ihatod niya, di ba? Pasigtaan na mo. Kato nga sir, kato nga maestro, ladies and gentlemen, ihatod niya ang mga choir members, no? But there was an ulterior motive, I know. Maybe sir believe, maybe naminaw siya sa kanang mga tambag sa gugma nga. Para kung mapainlove niyo ako sa kababae, dapat consistent ka, no? Consistent. Dili ka moingon nga, I love you, kausa lang. Pero kanunay, no? Everyday, di ka mo good morning. Ano yung adlaw, no? Kada adlaw. Kung ganahan siya nga tabangan ni mo siya sa iyang assignment, dili lang isa ka assignment. Activity number 1, tanan, no? Activity number 2, hunted man ang final period, tabangan na nimo. Yun, consistency yun. Kung consistent ko nung mga ladies and tip lang yun. Ay lang mo saba sa Didin mo mga si Didin Borbon. Gugma gini nga itong storya. Hindi gini about RAC 7. Gugma gini. It's all about feelings and love. Okay mo na, no? Ngayon nag-camera si Miss Taghat. Kuhan siya. Agree. Alright. Bitaw. So, if you want someone to fall in love with you, you must be consistent. Yun yung ginawa ni Sir. Consistent si Sir. Hinahatid. Yan mo drive-thru pa yun sa Jollibee. Yain pa yun niya dayon nga. Mura yung kag Jollibee. Kasi pagkasama kita, bida ang saya. Yun. Sinasabi yun ni Sir. Wagi po siya sa McDo. Sir, nanala sa McDo lagi. Ari kita diri kay kuan kanang pam-pam, ganun. So, iyan po katao, no, consistent kay si Sir until the time nga make of move si Sir, no? Ano gihimo ni Sir? Of course, no, alam niyo na, hindi lang sa salita, pati na sa gawa. Yun yung ginawa ni Sir. So, nasakpan, sumbong ang bata. Crying, psychologically disturbed. So, yun. Sabi ni Sir, may relasyon kami. Ayun, may relasyon kami. And she's the one who wants to ride with me home because we're always drive-through. Kaning sana, buying Jollibee and McDonald's. Siya yun. Kusang loob niya yun. At hindi naman yun nangyari sa office. It's not in the gym or in the place where we practice our choir. Okay, as I mentioned you earlier, extension pa rin yun.